Does the Sheriff's Department work closely with Lyman and Mountain View Police? We seem to be hearing that we are pretty much on our own.
Well, I would disagree. I would disagree a little bit with that. Is this working? I guess it is. We work all the time with Mountain View and Lyman. Mountain View has been really short on officers, and so there was a good time for months that we took all the calls, or almost all the calls, with Mountain View. I think things can always improve and work together better, but because we are a larger agency, we end up doing a lot of assist work for Mountain View and Wyoming, as far as like forensic interviews, sexual assaults. If they ask, we help them. I've met with both the mayors of Mountain View and Wyoming, and we have a good working relationship. I told them anytime they need anything, we're there to help them, that we won't let the citizens of the valley go without protection. Thank you.
How are your plans to change what the Sheriff's Office is doing? Yes. What plans do you have?
Oh, the question was again what?
What are your plans to change what the Sheriff's Office is doing?
Oh, I think that there's always things that we can do better, more efficiently. We're always looking for other programs. One idea I've had that I've been working on for a while, and then COVID hit, but it's in the process now, working with Evanston High School on getting seniors to be able to do their senior project. And we've done this in the past too, but this will be a sheriff's academy where these students, so will be seniors, will come to the sheriff's office and work in all the different disciplines and actually do the work. Talk on the radio, fingerprint someone, go out on patrols. We've got to do something to generate interest in the younger generation wanting to go into law enforcement. And so that is one of the things that weighs heavily on my mind is how do we do that? Because with everything that's happened in the past couple years with defund the police, it's made it extremely difficult to get anybody to even want to be in law enforcement. And so I think all of those things are very important. We have to find ways to do things better, more efficiently. Some of the things that we've done in the sheriff's office, you may not know it as citizens of the county, but we have a state-of-the-art, nothing better 911 system that we've got in, and we're working on putting in a new radio system.
Is gun crime more about guns or more about crime?
I agree that it's more about the crime than it is the gun. And responsible gun owners are not the problem. We do have times when we have convicted felons or people that are very violent and they're restricted by owning a gun. And so, but we do enforce that law. We do take that. But most of the gun crimes are, like Andy was saying, are people coming through that are not from here. But we set on I-80, and so we have a lot of people moving through, and we unfortunately run into them from time to time. Thank you.
Do you support red flag seizure laws?
I don't. But in some instances, it makes you wonder if there could be some kind of a moderation there. The problem that we have is that I absolutely stand up for the Second Amendment. I got a lot of guns. Everybody always asks me, are you going to let them come and take our guns? No, I'm not. But then we have court orders that tell us to go seize a gun on a protection order, and we're being ordered. So, we do that, and that, I guess, is kind of a form of a red flag law. There are hearings that'll come with the judge, and so the person has a right to petition the court to get those guns back. I think no is the answer I'm trying to say is no.
How would you increase the retention of qualified employees?
Retention is really a big problem, and it's a big problem everywhere. Keeping qualified officers. I believe that all of the commissioners that are here tonight would agree that we hound them like crazy to get raises for the deputies and for our dispatchers and detention officers. You know, and they have stepped up and helped us this last couple of years with you know, paying our full retirement, a 5% raise this year. A couple of years ago, I believe really, about every year we've been able to do something to improve our salary for our officers and dispatchers. Sometimes it's $100 a month raise, you know, other things like that. All of the deputies at the Sheriff's Office go through hundreds of hours of training. We bring in training, we try to find training that's not costing the county a lot of money. We send officers to training. Some of the training that we're really interested in right now is crisis intervention, de-escalation, and duty to intervene. And so we really pushed hard to get our officers through that. So if anybody has a solution, let me know, because we're open to trying anything. Thank you.
If there were to be a Bundy or Hammond type situation in Uinta County, what would you do as the sheriff?
My experience with federal government in those situations, well, not exactly like that. The situations where they're in our county doing, serving a warrant or investigating something, they've always contacted me. They've always let the Sheriff's Office be the lead on that. And so I would take the lead on it. I think it would be, if it's in Uinta County, then it's my responsibility, and they're here to assist. And I've never had a problem with that happening, but if it was, then I'd have to see what the full powers of my sheriff authority is. And I believe that I am the supreme law enforcement officer in the county. Thank you.
Yeah, how do you feel about laws that do not allow local and state law enforcement to enforce federal gun laws that do not go through due process?
I think there's a little bit of misunderstanding. We do not enforce federal law. We don't have the authority to enforce federal law, nor would we. And so if it's not in the Wyoming statute books, we don't enforce it. And I would be totally against letting the feds come in to enforce any law like that. Thank you.
What is the difference between law enforcement officer and peace officer? And which one are you?
Well, we use both terms all the time, but I believe I'm a peace officer. My duties as sheriff are to keep the peace. And it's really as simple as that, as keep the peace. So I believe I'm a peace officer. Saying that, county, I, as an elected official, as your elected sheriff, I don't take orders from anyone except you, the people. And so, believe me, I get phone calls all the time. And I'll call you back. If you call me and leave me a message, or I'll answer the phone, I'll call you back, because I do believe that I am responsible to you, and I need to reflect that in my actions. Thank you.
School shootings are a problem and have been for a long time. What are or will you do about it?
I agree that the school, we have to be prepared for any kind of an active shooter, and especially in our schools. There's 27 doors to the Evanston High School, outward doors. So it becomes a really big training issue. Just today I met with Highway Patrol, Evanston Police Department, and Mountain View, and we're setting up an active shooter training that will encompass the whole county, Mountain View, Lyman, and over here. And so it is a main priority, always a priority to look at what equipment that we can get, that we can afford. There's just so many things pulling at your budget to what you do first and what you do second. But this is, with Uvalde, has raised the level to, this is our main priority this year. It's to, while school's out, to get the training for all of our deputies and to work with Evanston and Mountain View, Wyoming, Highway Patrol. You know, if something happens in Mountain View, Evanston officers are going to be requested to go and vice versa. So it's going to take all of us to do it. And it's an undertaking that is ongoing, that we have to work on constantly and improve our plans and our decision making. Thank you.
What is the biggest challenge facing the sheriff's office?
There's more than one. But I think, you know, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing, and we just had a meeting today that went on for hours with the Department of Public Health and the director, some of the governor's aides and people, but mental health has become a major, major problem. You know, even it's the worst that I've seen in all the years that I've been around. And what to do with that is mind-boggling. The Department of Health has a $2 billion budget. And you would think with that much money that they'd be able to take care of everybody in Wyoming. It looks like that. But really, only about $100 million goes towards what we deal with. And right now, you know, people don't understand, but we built a brand new Wyoming State Hospital. And as far as Title 25s and Title 7s that affect us, it did very little to help. And so these are really concerning things. You know, our deputies all the time, and part of that is that we set on I-80. We have a lot of people moving through and committing crimes in our areas. So it's a major priority. We're going to keep working on it. We've got a lot of things in the plans for the summer. Thank you.
Why is the Mountain View substation closed?
The Mountain View substation is not closed. We do the best we can to have someone over there. We've had a difficult time with the budget. One of our to start back, my predecessor as sheriff had 5 secretaries. We have 1, and we had a half, but now we have 1. And so we do our very best to keep that substation manned at least a day or 2 a week. And hopefully most of the people in the valley know that they can call Frosty. I know she gets a lot of phone calls, and she'll leave Evanston early and stop there and do fingerprints or stop and get a report for someone. And so our plans are to get it back to full operation, but with the budget and everything, you have to balance between, do you want a road deputy in the valley? Do you want a secretary in the valley? Thank you.
Why are the transportation deputies not armed to protect citizens?
I think we're the only jail in the state that doesn't arm their detention deputies. The ones that are peace officers certified can carry a gun. The detention officers that are certified EOD officers don't carry guns in our agency. And that's for a couple of reasons. I think they're almost safer not carrying a gun. If you look over detention officers, and one just in Salt Lake that I was kind of involved in around about, he was killed with his own gun. If there's not a gun, then there's not going to be the opportunity for a bad guy to take that gun away. We had another incident where one of our court security officers was armed and was thrown down on the ground, and her gun was taken away, and we ended up in a standoff. So it becomes a question of they're very rarely out anyway anymore. With COVID, we built a courtroom in the jail. We have video visitation. Most of our stuff is done over video court now. There are transports, but we do have 2 armed court security officers in the courthouse, and so the need is just not there. Thank you.
Do you support making Uinta County a Second Amendment sanctuary county?
I would agree. We're not going to take your guns. You know, when you look around the world and what's going on in different parts of the world, Second Amendment becomes even more important. You know, the ability to defend ourselves. Supreme Court's made that clear, but also to defend against our government is important for us to be able to do that. And I would support a second amendment.
Please, each of you take 60 seconds for closing remarks.
Well, first off, thank you so much for everybody coming. I really appreciate people that educate themselves on matters like this. It's so important. You know, I'm really proud of the men and women at the Sheriff's Office. You know, we need more of them. We absolutely do. And being located where we're at doesn't help us. You know, we have Teton County to our north, we have Park City to our south, and everyone around us has more money. And so part of our real struggle is finding a balance between that. You know, be able to hire good candidates and keep them when other agencies around us are paying, you know, $5 or $6 an hour more. It becomes a real struggle. But I am proud of them. They work hard. They put up with so much in the last little while with our radio system not working right, our dispatchers. I can't say enough about them. They take good care of the county. I just want to say I love this county and I'll do my best.